So, thank you, Prabhu, thank you, IASRM, for inviting us to this wonderful congress and to meeting and sharing science. I learned a lot in this congress, and I would like to share with you very ancient and very unknown technique, which I'm also the only one to promote her, because everybody has talked about lasers, about carboxytherapy, about pregnancy, but no one talks about photobiomodulation. What is photobiomodulation? It's a technique that I found out several years ago when I did my fellowship in cosmetic gynecology. And as we said, as Eunice said, we are not fond of cosmetic. We are first of all ObGyn, and we are first restoring the function of for the women. That's our first goal, I think. Aesthetic is just aesthetic, I think, is just a candy, but first of all, function. So what about photobiomodulation or low-level laser therapy? I found out when I did my fellowship in cosmetic gynecology 7 years ago, and just before going to Dean to have my lectures, my mother had a torticollis, menstrual pain, and she asked me to buy her a red lamp, infrared and thermal lamp, to put it on her neck. Okay, about $10. And when I got to my lesson, to my course, there was a red shining light behind us, and I was asking, what is this? It is PBM, photobiomodulation. Okay. It was very new for me, and how it does it look? £20,000. Wow! There's quite difference between this red box, thermal, who cost $10, and this thermal one. This is photobiomodulation that you can use daily in your practice. No conflict of interest. What is photobiomodulation? It's all the effects of the biological non-thermal and non-cytotoxic due to the tissue exposure to ambient light with visible light and near infrared light. Observed by endogen chromophones, everybody knows now what is a chromophore. Light provoked biological reaction which results in physiological modification. Timeline. First of all, so since the discovery of the first laser by Blackman and McDuff, the first 3D laser, and Mester once, during an experience, he showed that low-level laser therapy had pushed some hair and had speed up scar healing in a rate experiment. So in the 70s, this technology was widely used by Russian army for his space programs, and after it spread in all the Western countries and the Warsaw Pact countries. And it's only after the fall of the Berlin Wall that the Western countries discovered this, and it was taken by the NASA in the 1930s, I think, it was integrated in his astronaut health restoring program. But nowadays, since the 20th century, there are a lot of several devices which have been developed for PBM. And you see here in this publication, just in research, you have, if you count, so photobiomodulation only, you have 2,200 publications. But you see, before there were no publication, and in this last years, you see the growth of in photobiomodulation therapy, you have about 8,000 publications, and photobiomodulation in gynecology, you have more than 50 results. But all of these publications are recent, I would say. So what is light? Light has two forms. We have a form of visible light, and its waveform, but you also have photons, okay? And the combination of two, you have, we already talked about that, you have penetration variating following the wavelength, okay? You have also two kind of lights. You can, for making a laser, as it has already said in this congress, you have to amplify the light. So you have a coherent light, and it's high power, highly concentrated, with important thermal effect that may destroy this. It may hit, but it also can be ablative and destroy. Whereas if you take an ambient light and just lamp, normal lamp, or the sun light, it's low power radiation because it's not concentrated and it has no thermal effect. Of course, you can have a sunburn, but it's mild to moderate. And so this is the light emitting diode, and this is the effect of the ambient light, which is called photobiomodulation, with no thermal effect. That is more important. Laser, you have a thermal effect. Photobiomodulation, you don't have thermal effect. So some PBM devices is all then fabricated, manufactured from LED, light emitting light. It doesn't cost very much. This is my device. It's mid-therapy or LED, and with some panels, and you have a vaginal probe, and this one is also a douche. I would say it's like a shower. Yes, it's like a shower. This one is particular because it associates light emitting diodes with electromagnetic fields. You have others, for example, you have three beams. You have all different colors probes for vaginal or panels for wide skin exposure. You have others, like here, it's another panel. You have for facial exposure, and I just discovered today another one which was in Nova technology, which is behind you, and there's a Photobiomodulation. There's a tree system technology with interferential C-wave electrostimulation, electroporation, and photobiomodulation. You see the photobiomodulation is these lines here. I just discovered here today. So there's many devices manufactured, but everything begins from solar photon. All of biological process begins with the capture of a solar photon and terminates with the flow of heat to the environment. So what is the action of the photobiomodulation? The chromophore stimulation makes molecular reaction, right? But mostly right, but also other colors is captured by chromophore of the mitochondrial chromophore cytochrome C oxidase enzyme, and as a response, it will emit a photon. And this photon will stimulate the production of ATPase enzyme. It will really speed up very much instead. So it has a restart oxidation reduction activity. So it's beneficial when the cell is saturated with free radicals, ROS, radical oxygen species. So it's good for every situation when you have inflammation, when you have oxidative stress. And so when you have a cell suffering, the nitric acid is replaces oxygen and blocks enzyme activities. So the action of the photon will make some vibratory action on the mitochondrial membranes and the modification of the Weber layer structure, intracellular and intramitochondrial and intercellular. So what it's gonna do, it will gonna improve the cellular activity with more synthesis production, with more stimulated cell renewal and mobility. You see here, it was discovered from Gynecoly since 95. So you see the action, you have the mitochondrial amylination, which makes activation of the respiration chain. Production of ATP is will speed up to 38 times So you have protein and DNA and RNA synthesis activation, and after you have collagen synthesis, and you have modification of intracellular calcium. The action of photobiomodulation precisely is on the interfacial water layer. These little long layers of water between the molecules of the intercellular. So it's like a pump. It will speed up, it will diminish the water density and viscosity, so it will speed up this protein which fabrics ATP. And all of us knows that ATP is the sugar of the cell. So this makes an improvement of extra and intracellular exchanges with oxygenation and oxidoreduction processes, which means detoxification. Okay? An effect on the blood, it will increase the oxygen saturation or red blood cell, release of oxygen in the tissues, increase leukocyte and phagocytic power, increase monoxidase in blood platelet, decrease cholesterol, increase antiplatelet aggregation, so and also stem cell augmentation. This is all. So the biological effects and therapeutic effects come from this action on cellular and tissue action. Cellular metabolism, activation and augmentation, detoxification, stimulation of the healing process, anti-inflammatory effects, vascular microcirculation activation, tissue trophicity augmentation, and it has some analgesic effects, spasmodic effects, and also immune effects, immunomodulation effects. So overall, photobiomodulation is an activator of cell and tissue response, aiming to restore and normalize energetic status of body, tissues, and immune system. So the application field, there are several used. Dermatologically, diabetic feeds, dermatology, dentistry, sports medicine, neurology, ophthalmology, and also inflammatory bowel. The research, the scientific publications are growing and growing. Every time you discover some new application. You see that on Amblin is in Harvard University, and he's doing too much on this research. And you see all of the publications. For example, this was published during before, I think, 2013, low-level therapy and lead therapy in the management of various leg ulcers on diabetic feeds. Before these feeds were going through amputation. Thanks to photobiomodulation, you can save them from amputation. You see that. After 15 sessions, how you can avoid amputation. This is something very important. Dentistry pain. It's an analgesic, so dentists use it from 2000, I think. So we began using photobiomodulation in gynecology for the similarities between buccal and vaginal mucosa. It's the same. So, indication in gynecology, there are several, there are numerous. We can use it in vaginal atrophy, vascular therapy, pelvic radiotherapy, lichen sclerosis, in scalp, episiotomy for scalp, I would say, for antalgic effect. For episiotomy, post-surgical or infection context, vulvovaginal rejuvenation, vulvar pain, a lot of conditions of STDs and recurrent infection like vaginitis or recurrent candidosis, vestibulodynia, dyspareunia, vaginismus, chronic itching, dysmenorrhea. Also for the acute infection, it's a very good anti-infective role. Recurrent vulvovaginitis, you also can use it for recurrent cystitis, interstitial cystitis, and urinary incontinence. Breast, I use it for breast engorgement. My wife has breast cancer with lymphedema, and she performs my my device every day to limit the breast lymphedema. And also in the literature, in the publication, you find it's new field in couples infertility, it's very wide. And it's also a treatment of optimization of the thermic effects of the laser, of radio frequency, and in synergistic with hyaluronic acid and the HIFU. Application modalities. ESC, the application is, the emission is directly put on the skin or 1 centimeter above if ever there's a wounded skin. We have some very established program, anti-inflammatory, antalgic, wound healing, anti-infective, depending of the indication. The session lasts about 10 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the indication. The problem of this technique, this device, is it doesn't work in 1 session or 2 sessions. For acute infection, for acute healing, yes, it heals quick, but you need several other sessions. So, the indication, for example, it has anti-infective role. The blue light is good for a lot of bacteria. For example, Pseudomonas aeruginosus, Staphylococcus, Escherichia coli, but also on Propionibacterial acnes. So there is an indication also for acne, for example. Okay, and also the blue and the red light is also effective on bacteria, and it may be a good solution for the multi-resistant antibiotics bacteria in the future. You can treat recurrent candidiasis, recurrent urinary infection with the blue light. You have just to repeat the sessions 2 or 3 times a week for 4 weeks. Cystitis, this is the program for you just have to put the device. Post-surgical case, this is a case of a friend of mine who has used a tumor coming from the vagina. It was myxoma, non-myxoma, benign, but the surgery was quite huge and difficult, and after she had infection because of the zone, and we treated it with 3 or 4 sessions of the device. Acne, as you see, you have anti-infective role on Propionibacterial acnes, so you can use it. Wound healing is spectacular on all the inflicted wound. You can do it. It's easy. On post-surgery, for example, this is my own case. It was a 13-year-old field tumor for a young girl, and the tumor was too close to the nipple area skin, so I had I was afraid of necrosis because I could not let minimal separation between the derm and the tumor. So at the end, I put my device, and she healed well. For example, episiotomy, when the episiotomy is painful, 1 or 2 sessions, you can do it. Post-cesarean section case, you can, when it's painful, you can put it too. There's a lot of articles on it. Genital syndrome of menopause, of course, you can also treat it by photobiomodulation. Vaginal dryness or lichen sclerosis, I would not say that you can use this device alone. Of course, that laser and radio frequency is useful, but giving some PBM session will only make your result better. Lichen sclerosis, this is from France, I think, after 4 sessions. Genital herpes recurrences, you can treat it because it will boost the immune system. Vulvodynia, dyspareunia, vaginismus, you can treat it. Vaginismus, I would not say is the best thing for you, but you have a vaginal probe. It's good to put it in. Quickly, I have to finish in a few minutes. You can use it as a vaginal probe for vaginal introduction of pain. What else? Pelvic pain role in dysmenorrhea by diminishing prostaglandin secretion. Breast enlargement. This is me with breast enlargement. For lymphedema in breast cancer, breast-related lymphedema, you can use it. And the future of PBM. You see, there are some new devices, for example, with a transvaginal probe, and you can do it maybe in the chronic pelvic pain. There's a lot of research and new publication every month, I would say. The future is also in the role in fertility, and you see the box there. It's a box when you can improve the sperm mobility because it's antioxidant and it gives health to the sperm, I would say. So, the effect also, I found this article in 21 about the effect of photobiomodulation during childbirth for analgesia. It's a good trial. I don't think it's already published. So, you can use photobiomodulation alone or with other devices or other techniques. Acid hyaluronic, you can use it with anti-infective treatment. With chemotherapy, I'm going to finish. Sexual therapy and botulinum toxin.
I'll give him 5
Conclusion,
minutes
very
from my
important
time.
text in cicatrization,
I know
inflammation,
that,
and pain, thanks to
yes,
its pleasure satisfaction.
lecture is
It's a
bigger than mine.
detoxification device of all immune systems. White space for use in different organs, skin, dentistry, ophthalmology, neurology system, immune system. And in gynecology, it's a tiny place in gynecology. So, you can use it for surgical wounds, the acute and recurrent vulvovaginal infection, a lot of indication. But what we need, what we still need is more scientific research to prove its effectiveness and usefulness. Because as it was said in the beginning of this congress, no evidence-based medicine doesn't mean that it doesn't work. We have to do our own experience and our own research, and that's after it will be. To conclude, there's a citation of Pascal. There's enough light for those who desire only to see, and enough darkness for those who have something contrary disposition.
Thank you.